President Trump promised $2,000 check to millions of Americans, and he renamed that stimulus to tariff rebate. That $2,000 check Trump promised to every American, it's not dead, but it's hanging by a thread, and there's a deadline coming that could decide whether your money happens or disappears for good. Stay right here, because by the end of this you will know exactly where your $2,000 really stands. And before I even move forward, I would like to ask you this very important question: that do you remember these words from President Donald J. Trump?
Thank you, Mr. President. Kevin Hassett has said that those $2,000 tariff rebate checks would be up to Congress to decide whether or not to disperse that. Do you agree with Kevin Hassett on that, or do you think you can do that unilaterally?
I don't think we would have to go the Congress out, but we'll find out. The reason we're even talking about it is that we have so much money coming in from tariffs that we'll be able to issue at least a $2,000 dividend.
Wow.
And also pay down debt for the country. But we'd do a $2,000 dividend to the people of our country. Would probably set a limit of, income limit where it made sense. But we will be able to make a very substantial dividend to the people of our country. I believe we can do that without Congress.
So President Donald J. Trump said that he doesn't need Congress when it comes to sending those $2,000 check. Well, of course, he said it a while back, but after that Supreme Court ruled against those tariffs and the tariffs went illegal, now there's a refund coming to these giants right now. So there's all going on. But you also need to understand that we have a deadline to talk about. That is July the 24th. Why? I'll tell you later in this video, so make sure you stay with us till the end. But first, look at this. The tariff dividend checks just become more likely. Economics weigh in, and this is super important. I receive a number of comments from you about these $2,000 checks, that what happened to the $2,000 check, and I do have some very important updates to share with you. Let me catch you all the way up, because this story has more twists than people realize. The president promised at least $2,000 per person for everyone except the wealthy. Then the Supreme Court came in and blew a hole in how it was going to be funded, and right now it's all riding on one law and one deadline. Do me a favor, hit that like button so I can get this update in front of more people waiting on this check, and type pay up. Again, type pay up in the comments if you think this money should go to Americans, means low income Americans, middle income Americans, and it should actually reach American families. Again, write in the comment section pay up. The odds of Trump's $2,000 tariff dividend checks are now effectively zero, according to some experts. Well, is it really true? This is the biggest question. Well, I have some very important details to share with you, which will actually allow you to decide whether the experts are correct or your instincts are correct. Here is why the dividend is still alive. Back in February, the Supreme Court ruled the original tariffs illegal, and everyone assumed that killed that $2,000 check, because no tariff means no money to fund it. But the president immediately pivoted and used a different law called Section 122. Remember this, Section 122. This is a different law to put a new 10% tariff on imports. Smash the like button, because here's the key part. Treasury Secretary Besant went on the record saying tariff revenue will stay, in his words, virtually unchanged. So the money pipeline that would fund your $2,000 is still flowing, and this is huge. That is exactly why this is not dead. The White House said it's committed to putting that revenue to good use for the American people. Type still alive. Again, type still alive if you're still holding out hope for this check, and if you believe President Donald J. Trump will send this check right before the midterm election, because the approval rating matters. So let me know in the comments below what do you think about it, and type still alive if you're still holding out hope for this check, and if you think President Donald J. Trump will send these checks to Americans. Now, here is the important part. Trump administration imposes 10% Section 122 tariff and plan to replace IPA tariffs. And this is also very important. Not a lot of people know about it, but you should know about it because it matters. Well, here's the thread it is hanging by, and this is the most important date in this whole story. That Section 122 tariff is temporary. By law, it only lasts 150 days, which means it expires on July the 24th, 2026. After that, unless Congress steps in to extend it, that specific tariff goes away. Now the administration has a plan. They want to replace it with other tariffs under different laws called Section 232 and Section 301, so the revenue may not fully disappear. But every one of these moves is getting hit with lawsuits and nothing is guaranteed. The funding base for your check is real today, but it's standing on shaky grounds. Trump's $2,000 tariff dividend check, what's real, what's blocked, and what comes next. Now, let me be completely honest with you, because I'm never going to sell you a check that is not real, as I say this in every video. The single biggest problem is this: there is no law. The $2,000 dividend has been promised in speeches and on Truth Social, but Congress has never passed it. No bill, no treasury system to send it, no mailing date, and even Trump's own team is split. Both Bassett and economic advisor Kevin Hassett said Congress would have to approve it, even though Trump had suggested he could do it without them. One Columbia economist flat out said the odds are effectively zero in the short term, so the dividend is still alive as an idea with funding behind it, but it's not money in your account and you should not budget for it yet. And you need to keep this in mind. We do all of those mistakes in our life where we feel like there's money coming and we start planning according to it, but in reality you should wait for that money to arrive. Now have a look at this update as well. Well, since both sides of the aisle have proposed bills to implement these refunds, it should be possible to find bipartisan support for this, said economics professor Brett House. And this is indeed very important as well. Why? Well, the reason this whole fight matters so much, those tariffs are estimated to cost the average households over $2,500 this year. So you are already paying that money out through your higher prices. A $2,000 dividend would be giving you back part of what you already lost. That is why people want it so badly and why it's going to be a huge issue heading into November midterm election. So here's what to do. First, circle July the 24th on your calendar, because that deadline is the next real checkpoint for the funding. Second, understand the only way this becomes a real check if the Congress passes a bill. So contact your representative and senators at house.gov and senate.gov and tell them you want it codified into law. Third, do not fall for any text or email claiming your tariff dividend is ready and asking for your information, because that is a scam. No check has been approved. And fourth, subscribe to the Credit Viral Show, because the moment this moves in Congress, you will hear it here first. And if this cleared up where your $2,000 really stands, tap that like button, share it with someone still waiting on this check, and subscribe to the Credit Viral Show. I track every twist, so you always know if your money is coming or gone. Well, you also need to understand that if you support this $2,000 check from President Donald J. Trump, then write in the comment section, I support $2,000 check. Again, if you support it, then write in the comment section, I support $2,000 check, because remember, if you don't do anything, nothing will happen. If you have any questions at all, then please let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer each and every question of yours, as the Credit Viral Show will always be with you in your good and difficult times. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video very soon. Till then, please take care and have a nice day.